I'm trying to think of a good analogy for life, and something that I've continually came back to was this idea of a forest and the words of journey. We say often life is a journey of exploration, but I want to paint a deeper picture of what that means to me. You have a forest, a big forest, filled with all these different things to see. You have the waterfall in one area of the forest, hidden amongst the shrubs. There's um, the big tree that everyone knows and have seen. There's all these different abundances of nature and animals running around the forest. And initially, when you get to this forest, this is an analogy for life, you look at it and you have no idea where to go. You have no idea what direction to walk in, how to even navigate, first of all. Some of these trails have not even been made yet. So you're looking for anything. You look for any direction that just kind of resembles a path. You turn to your friends. You turn to your family. They're saying, oh yeah, you could walk down this direction. You could try this path. It leads you presumably to the lake, to the big tree. You can go walk in the other direction. And it's your job as you kind of mull over all these suggestions of, okay, I'll walk along one of those paths. I'll commit to this forest and walk forth because I really don't know what other direction to go. I have not walked and been in this forest yet. So you venture forth. You start to make a path for yourself through this entire just nature reserve. You know, you get your machete out, you start cutting the trees back, the brush back, and you make your own path through the forest towards the lake, towards the top of the mountain, towards all these different landmarks in life. You end up making a path that makes sense to you. You make a path that once was just brush into something that you've memorized like the back of your hand. You could walk through this path blindfolded because every day you got up from your campsite and you just wandered along the same path and cut it a bit further, cut it deeper, cut it wider. You're starting to maintain this path, put down not just I don't know, you're starting to remove the big boulders in the way of the path that make it hard to navigate. You're smoothing it out. You're making it so enticing for you to walk along this path that it doesn't make any more sense to venture forth into the brush again. You've built this path on the suggestions of others, and of course, maybe some reflections to yourself. But a lot of the times, this path it's not the only one. It never is, actually. There are hundreds, millions, billions of different paths to navigate the forest, to all these different landmarks, to all these different destinations. There is not one way to do anything in this forest. And the longer you trot along your own path and design it, like I said, it's hard to create a new one. But what if you got the courage to? What if you got the courage to start cutting through the bush again into a different direction, to just explore the forest, not because you're leaving your path behind, but because you're curious to what else is out there. Because the forest offers so many different sights to see. Your path probably has only covered a couple of the most interesting ones. But when you start to cut through the bush, you start to uncover other hidden gems that you never even knew existed, that others never even knew existed. Because a lot of the times, the path that you have chosen is one that's a function of the people around you. They're telling you, try this, it's really good. Try this, it's really good. So your path is gonna look kind of similar almost if you're taking these suggestions very well. And if you never mix or mingle with all these other people of the world that maybe hold different values or different suggestions of a direction to go, then your path will only ever be super refined and reformed in this one direction. And again, a lot of the times that's fine. It's not bad to feel solid in your path, solid in your identity. I think that's great. And what else is also great though is seeing how this identity can morph and change. And if you just took the courage to trot along a different direction and question, why am I even walking on this path to begin with? Why can I not go a different way? It does take energy, mind you. And this is probably the most probable reason as to why we don't want to carve through the forest again. It took so much energy to figure things out initially. Why do we have to do it again? Why bother leaving what has been well trotted for something that is just a bush again? And I mean, yeah, you're right. What's the justification of doing that? But again, think about what else is in that forest. The rare species of birds, the opportunity to just see things that no one else has ever dreamt of. You get to create a world for yourself that you genuinely want. You can leave the path if you wish. It's always going to be there for you. There's no need to feel worried that when you cut through a couple trees in a different direction, that you can't just backtrack a little. I mean, maybe some decision making does make it impossible to backtrack, but for the most part, everything is reversible. If you have campsite set up like your home, just in the real sense, you really have nothing to worry about. You get to come home at the end of the day and have a good night's sleep and some food in your belly. Trying something new is there's no risk to that. If anything, it'll just uncover closer to who you actually want to be. Because going back to the first time you've laid that path, the first direction, what's to say that that was the perfect one to begin with? How is that possible? I'll close off with tangible remarks. This kind of got spurred because of taxes. Such a silly reason. But growing up, my dad always had this one way of filing taxes and he helped me out. I followed his way. Also, of course, this conversation is not strictly about taxes, but it's just something that prodded my brain to get me into this headspace. There's so many other things in my life, but taxes right now, like I just got finished doing my taxes, and I used a different procedure that my dad has always done for me and taught me to do. Before, I used to use an accountant. This time around, I was like, you know what? How hard could it actually be? We have technology now. There's so many great tools that can do it for you. You just have to give a little bit of your energy to them. And holy smokes, I was so surprised. It was so easy. It makes me wonder why I was ever even using the accountants before. Honestly. Like, it just doesn't compute. Because when you end up going on a different path, sometimes you can feel that way too. You question, why did you ever even walk on the other one to begin with? Because this one has the sight of the Grand Canyon. It has the sight of this massive fjord where the sun rises and sets in this beautiful contrast with the trees and the water. You know, you could discover that land. And it makes you wonder, why did you ever settle for the path that just led you through a bunch of just rocky gravel that hurt your feet and, you know, I don't know. I was just having fun with this analogy world. I wanted to paint a better picture. I hope you felt what it means to journey in life, of wandering, of walking. And yes, wandering is another great topic. Sometimes wandering is one of the best things you could do. You don't know what path to go on, what direction to choose. That's okay. Just wander. See what you find, because you just don't know until you actually experience. Anyway, I'm Matthew. Peace out.